Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is you are. I'm going to hope that we have more people to join us. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Ajanaku, thank you very much for being the first person online. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Please, if you don't mind, help us invite your friend if they can be on. That would be great. Thank you. Um, my mommy, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I'm gonna want to wait for a few more people to join before we start. And I hope everybody is doing well. Can you guys hear me? Um, Type something, let me know. Mr. Tunde, thank you. Mr. Aguda, thank you very much for joining. Let me know if my volume is okay. And when you come in, let us know. Let us know if you watched the movie already, because that's what we want to talk about. Thank you, Kemi, for joining. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to let's see if I could get more people. And so I usually don't like my videos to be too long, but this is probably gonna need to be a little longer. So we have three people. Maybe if we have like, okay, four people, please share as you come in. And thank you, everybody that watched the movie. And my thank you everyone. Can we share please on our page so that more people can join? All right, so we have five people. We're just gonna start. All right. So the movie that we're talking about, can somebody type the title in? My First and Last. I'm not sure if it's Kende Bankole that actually did it, but I know when I'm googling it, you have to put Kende Bankole to be able to pull the exact movie up. So welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here. And You Matter family, thank you for your support always, always. Um, so yes, the title of the movie that we're going to be discussing is My First and Last, and we are going to be roping this into when abuse is not physical. When abuse is not physical. A lot of times, I've even heard it being said in the Christendom that um, you should be able to endure if it's not, as long as nobody is beating you, you should be able to endure. This movie is um, something that we all need to it's making me think in a different dimension. as to, you know, the different types of abuse that we have. All right. So a quick summary about the movie. All right. So so before I start, disclaimer: I'm not a professional in a relationship or anything like that. This is strictly based on my experience, the little things I've seen in this my little time of being around, and from people's people's um um conversations that I've had with people. Um, you know, things that have been happening and in marriages, relationship, and things like that. So yes, disclaimer: I'm not a professional. I'm not telling you that this is how you should live your life or do your home, but I'm saying let's talk about this. All right. So when abuse is not physical, the title of the movie again is My First and Last. If somebody can type it in, that would be great. So this girl, Abby, which was played by Kendi, was a promising musician. Met and fell in love with Fred. Fred seemingly was very supportive of the career choice that Abby shows. Um, Fred seems to know a lot about this, um, the music career. The lady was prospering, so of course they fell in love. Um, got married after a short while, and um, and um, the the first night after the wedding, the first argument was, to me, it was very unwarranted. Something about the Abby's best friend. Sorry guys, I'm totally bad with names, but at least I know the two major characters is Abby and Fred. The first major fight that they had, or should I say misunderstanding that they had on the wedding night, was that Abby's best friend gave the MC Fred's full name. So apparently he had changed his name and didn't want the full name to be disclosed for whatever reason. And he ended up um, disrespecting Abby's friend so bad. Okay, thank you. Abby's best friend is Sarah. All right. That misunderstanding that night was very unwarranted, if you ask me. And that was my first clue to, okay, what might be going on in this relationship. Anyway, the marriage was seemingly okay. They had two girls, and um no, actually they had a daughter, and then the guy's business fell out. Apparently his investment was taken over by the government that it wasn't. Thank you for the stars. um Thank you. So apparently the property was taken over by the government because it wasn't supposed to have been um a place, a residential area, whatever. Anyway, so the business went down. That was the beginning of the problem. I guess because it didn't have the financial capacity to carry it home. Abby was now um, carrying the bulk of the um, financial responsibility of the home. He began to be to nag, very disrespectful, um, made a fuss about anything and everything. Time went by. Now they have two kids. Um, I'm just going to be saying the major stuff. The next major thing that happened was the lady was disallowed from going to like a special event night that was going to help her in her career. So a big misunderstanding broke out from that. The best friend, which was also the manager, came home to find out what was it, why didn't Abby show up for the event that was planned. Another misunderstanding came up by Fred because the best friend wasn't supposed to have come home, whatever that is. That led to Fred um, um, asking Eddie that he wants Abby to fire her manager, Sarah, and that he is going to now be the manager. Another hiccups for me. Even though he seems to be knowledgeable about music, there was no genuine reason why Sarah had to be fired. The rift in the relationship continued, but Abby seems to be managing it. Um, the next major thing, misunderstanding that happened, resulted in Fred. No, actually, the business wasn't going well because if you ask me, I don't think Fred has enough um, experience anyway to be a music manager. They weren't getting contracts, and the fact that they weren't getting contract, the financially things were not moving well. This was when Fred suggested that Abby, that they as a family need to put all their resources into his restaurant business. Remember, well, I didn't mention before, but he was into restaurant business, and that was what folded up. So now he wants all the music finances to now be put into the restaurant business for, and that would be the major source of income. Abby, I guess, was manipulated into saying yes. The fact of the matter is, she did say yes. But in between all of this, I know I'm just breathing through. If there's anything that I'm missing, for those of you that watched the movie, you can type it for me. But in between, and in between all of this guy continues to nag, continue to lie, continue to make this lady feel like she doesn't know what she's doing, um, that she's always forgetful. There was a so now after they already put the finances into the business, there was a night that they went for a dinner. I'm gonna say this specific incident because it mattered. They went for a dinner. So apparently, coming back for the dinner that they thought was going to be an award night for them to celebrate them getting the contract, didn't go that way, and they came back home sad. They showed the bedroom that the guy was in the bedroom, um, um, moving around, wasn't happy because they didn't get a contract. They showed the lady come back in afterwards, saying, "I just went to feed one of our kids and put them to bed." And they spoke about the situation, how um, everything is going to work out at the end of the day, yada, yada, yada. And they went to bed. Guys, can you imagine that the very next morning, Fred woke up with I don't know if it's a thought, made up a story that Abby was drunk and um um was flirting with a lot of the people that invited them to the party. That was why the contract was not awarded. The lady was like, "No, I only had one drink. I wasn't drunk." Fred said she was drunk. He kept hammering on the fact that she was drunk. She's been forgetful. This is the last time we ever have to go to any event with her again. And the major reason why I'm pointing this incident out is the after Fred had left the room, Abby started to imagine, was I really drunk? Did this really happen? The next major incident that happened was Abby went out to a supermarket, saw a friend slash manager that they lost contact for years. And basically they shit shot. The manager was her best friend. So she could see that the girl wasn't feeling good. So I guess the conversation lasted them for a really, thank you. That was very surprising when the guy made up the story that the lady was drunk in the morning. Anyway, met up with Sarah, and of course, they haven't seen each other for a while. Sarah had been married, had a kid, doing well with her family. I guess the conversation lasted maybe longer than it's supposed to have lasted. And immediately, Abby, I guess, reached for a time and knew what time it was. She, like, fidgetily left the car to go home because apparently she already know that the husband is going to make a fuss about it. All else, all hell broke loose when she got home. She also made a mistake of saying I met with Sarah. Oh my God. There was nothing Fred didn't say to her. That pushed her over the edge to try to commit suicide. She actually attempted suicide. She took some medicine. I think as soon as she put the medicine in her mouth, she had tested her sister. There were two siblings. She had tested her sister. I really don't remember what the content of the text is, but the sister, and I'm guessing she was rushed to the hospital. Um, and the sister rushed to the hospital, prayed with her. Again, it was an attempted suicide because she didn't really die. She made it alive. But the main point is, while she was in the hospital, only God knows the story that Fred had told the family. Because even with this suicide attempt, no nobody really understood what she was going through. They thought she was the one that's being clumsy, you're being forgetful, and why in the world would you want to commit suicide? Why would you want to leave your two girls, your beautiful family? And the girl was like, she couldn't understand what was going on. And the way I see it was nobody was on our side because on the outside, everything seems to be okay. Now, um, the sister at this point said she has to be going for counseling. So she's been going for this counseling. Even with her going to the counseling, the husband is still using that as a point to say, oh, good thing you're going to counseling. At least now you're going to be behave like somebody who said is correct, as the way we say it. But anyway, that continued. It continued to this day that they went for counseling, and the counselor had to say to the girl, your husband is a narcissist. She broke down the meaning of narcissist to her and said the next point of action was for her um to fight for herself, that she has to fight back. That was the game plan. And sure enough, when she got home, the husband was on it again. The husband was on it again. And as soon as she fought back, and the husband was like, wait, you cannot be talking to me. Fred wasn't expecting Abby to respond. He wasn't expecting Abby to be able to say anything back to her. Abby was now able to state that every downfall that she has had was caused by Fred. The financial troubles and all sorts. Thank you. She was dying in silence because this is a comment from Gbemisola. She was dying in silence because she did not open up to the people about what she was saying. Actually, I think even when she tried to open up, because the abuse was not physical, I don't think they saw it. Because she's tried on occasions to talk to her sister. The sister just keep you know, waving her off that the she had a perfect family. I think that was the issue. Nobody was listening. Which is one of the reasons I want us to talk about this. We're talking about this anyway. So anyway, she got home, she fought back, and that was how she was able to gain her freedom. That was how she was able to um uh, uh they were able to get the kids off and left. And I basically that's the end of the movie. And actually, the guy tried to commit suicide, but um, didn't go through with it. And you know, on the screen they had that suicide is never an option, which I always agree with. Suicide is never an option. Suicide is never an option. So regardless of what it is that we're going through, suicide is never an option. So now, that's the summary of the movie that I like. Just in case you didn't watch it, I basically giving you like a synopsis of what the movie was about. So now, please comment. Let me know what could she have done differently. You know, and the and for and yeah, what could she have done differently? Let me read in your comment. And while you guys are typing that, I want also to say there's this saying that in relationships when you're dating or courting that sometimes there's a red flag. If you see a red flag, you run. I say that too. If you see a red flag never turns to green flag. In this movie, I didn't see any red flags. The guy seemed to be in love with her. And I didn't know that the guy had any problems until it started showing up later. The guy seemed to be supportive of the business. So what changed? So if financially things are not working out, is that a reason for the home to break? You know? Let me read the comment and I'll go from there. Yeah, suicide is never an option, definitely. Suicide is never an option. Um, we need to identify with different types of abuse. Yes, there's different type of abuse, and in this movie, especially, is showing us emotional abuse, mental abuse. You know, like things that didn't happen. The guy just came up and said it happened to the point that this lady is tried attempted suicide. So when I say how what can we do to avoid situations like this, again, I didn't see any red flags. The one thing though that I also wanted to point out was this lady Abby was said to have grew up in a Christian home. They didn't show us at any point that she prayed. They didn't show us at any point that she, you know, maybe met with somebody to pray or seek for counsel until after the first suicide. They didn't even try to do counseling. You know, so um, I'm still trying to. Yeah, she prayed after the marriage, but that was the only time they showed us that she prayed. I see a comment that said she prayed after the marriage, but yeah, that was the only time they showed us she prayed. But if we're going through things, I believe we should go back to the source. Go back to the source. If anything, it will give us clarity, it will give us peace, it will show us, if we act, what steps to take. Okay. And yes, Baby Sola said, let me see, go back to my comments. I think some of the comments are disappearing for me. But if it goes to a woman, do not allow love to go into your brain by allowing a man to brainwash you to extend it or quitting your career. Thank you, Wemisola. I don't know whatever it is. I'm not saying don't support our spouses, but you can support your spouse and now be jobless, idle. Like you gave everything. What happened to, you know, doing it together? My message is disappearing, so I think I have to be trying to read it as soon as possible. So yes, be careful. So okay, now the message just left. The comment that I was trying to read just left. Anyway, all right. So basically, so I'm saying that I finished watching the movie, and all I could say was, "Wow, wow." This woman was not ever beaten physically, as if we weren't shown that, but emotionally, mentally, and in every other way, she was abused. The guy even manipulated the kids to even think the way he thinks. Like mommy's always forgetful. There was a point that they were making a conversation about mom always forget our spoons. Like how bad can he get? Manipulating the kids to believe the same thing that the same bad mindset that he had towards the wife. So in all of this, I'm saying abuse could be major without it being physical. This lady was pushed to the point of wanting to take her own life. This lady was pushed to the point of second guessing herself because at times in the movie they showed us how she was thinking, wait, maybe I actually did break the frame, but I don't remember breaking it. She was talking to herself. She almost went crazy because of the mental exhaustion that the husband has placed on her. So I'm admonishing us to um, recognize that there are different types of abuse. It could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be financial. There's different types of abuse, mental abuse that even if the husband doesn't or the spouse doesn't kill you physically, they might kill you in other ways. Like, what if this lady has died? If this lady had died, the man would have definitely married another person. And and sorry, I'm trying to read another comment because I see that my comment is disappearing. So after giving the husband a due respect, sometimes the husband seems to not reciprocate. Just taking step backward instead of making an attempt to committing suicide. Marriage should not be a do or die thing. Yeah, exactly. The husband, I don't see how the husband was respectful in the whole of the movie, but I did thought that the husband loved the girl. But yes, suicide is never an option. But I'm just saying that we should pay attention to our families. Sometimes they push us away, not because they want to, but because that's the only option that they seem to have at the moment. As families, we cannot just neglect them just because they're not reaching out. And I'm guilty of this. Like, I call people 3, 4 times. I'm like, calling me back. Okay, maybe we don't need to do that again. We cannot be doing that. Reach out, text messages. Let your family, regardless of wherever they are, know that you care. And abuse is abuse, be it physical or otherwise. Abuse is abuse and it cannot be tolerated. And if we see any signs of abuse, we need to seek for help. We can't try to say that we can take care of it on our own, or think that, oh, before you get to the point of start second guessing yourself, look for help. There's help available. Reach out to your for those of us that go to church, reach out to your pastors. Reach out for professional help. Professional help. Like, if you feel like there's nobody in your family that you can talk to, reach out for professional help. In this movie, I didn't see anywhere where the family actually spoke to them as a couple or anything like that. Maybe we weren't shown, but I don't see it. Let's make it a point to not live an isolated life. Even the only one friend that we saw with her, the Fred made her um severe the relationship. I was even glad that the one time they saw outside, they were able to speak to each other. I think that tells about the depth of friendship that they had, that the lady was able to see and know that something is wrong. So, guys, sometimes there's no red flags, but wherever it is that you see that something is not working right, let us seek for help. Attempting suicide is never an option. I can stress that enough. And if you see that somebody is a narcissist, your spouse is not a rehabilitation center. You need to find a rehabilitation center. This guy would have known that he had issues. The last scene where the guy Fred was hearing voices. I'm pretty sure he probably would have been hearing voices before he got married, and he just disregarded that he had issues. I know Fred didn't create himself, didn't put himself in the situation that he found himself in, but it is our responsibility to take steps to take care of ourselves. So if he was hearing voices, he could have asked for help. If he was hearing voices, he could have, spoken to somebody that could have said, do this or do that. All right, so I'm trying to read another comment. It says, do you know that the women that have to be very careful, like you have said, we should carry our family along in our relationships. Do not throw our family away because we are married. Yep. Thank God for the sister. Yes. You can't just be married and just forget about your families. Um, I still believe that blood is thicker than water. Anyway, the main gist of this live session is to say that we need to pay attention. We need to pay attention in our relationships. Everywhere we find ourselves, abuse is abuse. Just because somebody is not slapping you front, back, and center does not mean that everything is fine. Somebody, a spouse that is not taking, uh, um, that's not doing their financial, that's not contributing their financial responsibility to the home can be considered an abuse. As somebody that has not provided a conjugal right in the home can be considered an abuse. People that lie and manipulate can become an abuse. Selfishness in the extreme can be a form of abuse. So let's pay attention. And again, so in summary, sometimes in our relationship, there's no red flags. But whatever it is that we do see them, that they come up, let us deal with them. Don't turn a black eye, hoping that it will just get better. Abuse is abuse. Let's deal with it. If we have issues, talk to people. Seek help, therapy, talk to people. Do not ever give up all that you have just because you are married. Both ways. I would not expect a husband to just say, oh, I'm going to close up my business so my wife should start up this new business. And then he would become idle. Both ways. We need to work together and complement each other. Okay? So, yes, guys, I appreciate everyone for coming. Let me see if I could read more comments before we go. But yes, recommend this movie to your families and friends. Suicide is never an option. Thank you. Yes, Candice. Suicide is never an option because when you die, that's the end of it. The abuse, in case of this lady, what if she had died and the abuse continued with the kids? How about that? So, yeah, suicide is never an option. We need to seek help, and help is available. You just have to talk to people. And for some of us, if you don't want to, you know, announce your issues to your immediate family, look for professional help. Therapist is a thing everywhere, and they are available. Look for help. Okay? So, yes, thank you. Abuse is abuse. Any form of abuse is not allowed. And let's work against eliminating abuse. And let's try as a family to identify abuse wherever it is that we see it. That friend that all of a sudden used to talk to you and got married the next 2 years, you're not hearing from them. Try to seek them out to see. You never know. You never know what they may be going through. Okay? And like I say always, your actions and inactions matter. Don't let anybody put you down. You are enough. And thank you for joining. Again, like and share this movie. Thank you for the stars. I appreciate it. And God bless. See you next time.